In this episode of Keyword Cafe, I talked to Zoran Surlan about cold calling, generating leads, and his thoughts on Go High Level. Enjoy. So you're just going to Google and finding the businesses, and then you're just manually copying and pasting into a spreadsheet, or you're taking some screenshots, or you're not doing any kind of like scraper tool to get them off of there.
Yeah, I don't do. I don't do any scraping tool. I just copy the number from Google Maps, Google My Business, and I call them. And if they pick up, then I place them in my sheet. But if there's nothing out of that call, nobody picked up, I'm not gonna even put it in the sheet. So that's pretty much how it is. It's really, really basic, but that's what I did last time. It worked for me with a minimum time investment. I got myself a client, which that's all that matters.
That's good. Yeah, that's a very courageous approach that you got there. I feel like I see more of that nowadays with cold calling, cold emailing, postcarding, more traditional marketing methods. But I feel like for a long time, maybe even still, the majority of nowadays is people think that it has to be digital. Like it's got to be an email, it's got to be a LinkedIn message, it's got to be like a lead magnet or a lead generation form. I think that a lot of younger people today are maybe even scared of the phone, or like scared of. I think that unless you've gone through like a pretty rigorous training in phone salesmanship, it's kind of intimidating to just get on the phone and talk to a stranger and try to like use your voice and the right words to get them to be interested in what you have to say. I think that societies, over time have become so used to denying that kind of thing, from like telemarketers to like hang up on them or treat them poorly or whatever. So it definitely is a nice, like I said, a showing of courage and a new spin on the whole approach that you can use some modern tools to help you out with, and just do some basic searching online. But I mean, look at the results that you've gotten. You can still make it happen. So you don't, you can definitely take this approach as opposed to, what 99% of other marketers are trying to do.
I would agree with you. It's a lot of these tools. You gotta use this tool. It's gonna make your life easier. This and that. Okay. At the end, what matters is just the short. You need to find the shortest route to your goal. So that, I tried tools, didn't bring me any great value. Depends on what you do, of course. For my this kind of approach, the tool didn't matter that much. Um, and also what you were saying, email and LinkedIn message. Yeah, absolutely, I agree. That would be the perfect case scenario in which I would do a cold call. I would send an email, or I would send an SMS, even maybe LinkedIn message, all that. It would be great. That would be like perfect outreach case scenario. But for me, what I think is like I want to talk to them. I want to get them to if just to get them interested, get them hooked on the call. It's the shortest way to find out whether or not someone is interested. Um, but yeah, I definitely send them emails sometimes if they're interested into something. But LinkedIn message for my niche, I don't find LinkedIn message being super helpful, because people are small business owners, and sometimes they don't even mention that they're owner of that specific business on LinkedIn, or they don't even have a LinkedIn profile. It's not for B2B. That would be much more. Sorry, not for B2B. For like bigger companies, for bigger organizations, that will be matter much more. And another thing for cold calls and the fear and the training that you mentioned, that's a big thing. Like, I mean, myself, I hate doing cold calls. I can describe, I can't describe how much I hate them, but you gotta do them. I mean, it's obviously you feel like all this anxiety before you click that button for a call. Your heart races, you blush and all of that, and it lasts until someone picks up, and it still goes on until you say at least a couple of words, and someone says like, "Sure, go ahead, let me know tell me more." Um, and that's where you kind of, you relax and you take your time to explain, because okay, someone is cool, someone might be interested, you know, and so that's why my pitch is also in a way that in the first not even 5 seconds, maybe, I basically asked them, would you give me, do you want to hang up now, or you want to give me 30 seconds and decide? So basically, there is a small part before that, but um, so that's kind of like, just you give them option. You give them an option to choose whether or not they want to listen to you. Maybe they're busy, maybe they just really don't care. So you let them know that this is a call, and you can choose. So it's fine. Like if they say no, thank you, bye, or they just hang up, it doesn't matter. It's been 5 seconds with a stranger. And then, for example, if they say, okay, yeah, go ahead, that's it. You got a positive, green light. So that's where you need to like take a deep breath and present, because you're calling them because also you believe you have a great value, and you gotta believe in your product and your value. If you don't, then you'll never gonna be comfortable enough to get something from them or convince them.
Yeah, I bet that after you do one or two of them for the day, you get a lot more comfortable. Like I know the same feeling where it's like uh so many times in life, like for me specifically, like public speaking or whatever, you get that just sort of like your body temperature goes up, you get anxious, maybe you get dry mouth, you know, you got to clear your
Mm.
throat, like whatever your symptoms are as a result of like overthinking the process. And then you get up and you start talking, and then like 5 seconds later you feel fine. I bet after you do that first call, you've kind of like warmed up your nervous system, so to speak, and then you're just like ready to rock and roll. And like you said, if someone says no or hangs up or whatever, it's like, well, I'm not even talking to this person face to face. I'll never see them or talk to them ever again. Like, who cares if
Yeah,
they just, it's like you said, a stranger that's going away after a couple of seconds. So if you make a connection, that's a victory. And if you don't, then just move down the list to the next person. It's like not a personal, it's not like a personal attack or something.
yeah, 100%. Yeah. So that's kind of a good side of all of it. But it's strange, hard to understand why it's so difficult. Even like you said, like, okay, first call and then later it's easier. Yes, it is slightly easier, but still, all you want to just run away from it and get your call from zone. So that's what it is. Comfort zone is it's good, and but you gotta go out sometimes out of it. Otherwise, you won't get as good results as you would want to. Like I could also send thousands of emails probably, and maybe get a couple of positive answers in there, but also probably not as well. So this is when you realize that this is the best investment of your time, then you go ahead and you push yourself, no matter how hard it is, because you have a greater goal, you have a mission, you know where you're going, you know why you're doing that. So that's what make pushes you to go for it.
Do you have any like tips or suggestions? Like, let's say somebody wanted to do this and they wanted to write their template, like they wanted to write the thing that they say when the person picks up the phone. Did you come up with this on your own? Did you like read a book or watch a video on it, or how did you like what's your formula for like writing down that template, and like what kind of like tips have you learned in your time doing this?
Yeah, so me, when I wanted to do a cold, well, first of all, I did my first cold call like 5 years ago, when I was doing lead gen for just small marketing business, and basically they make me call real estate agents or something like that. And so also in the beginning, when I started doing that, my English was not maybe at this level. It's still like far away from native, but um, you know, it was even worse. So I was having that fear. I was having a fear of how am I gonna call around a person, all that. So they give me a small training, just like basically guiding me through the script, but everything else you have to figure out kind of on the way and see what happens in the call. I didn't even know answers to some questions that people would ask me, so that was bad. But I managed to book a couple of appointments, and that's where I kind of did about maybe a month and a half or 2 months of cold calling every day for 3 to 4 hours. So that's where I kind of got better. But still, it was, if you ask me, still it was bad. Um, and of course, I didn't have a chance to adjust the script. So they give me a script and I just had to follow. So eventually, obviously, when I moved away from that position and all of that. So when the time came for me to do cold calls for myself, because that was after all that, I didn't do a cold calling for about 4 years probably. Um, and I supposed to continue for my own business and to see how am I going to get myself a client. So I believe because I could get a couple of appointments for them, like why I wouldn't be able to get it for myself. It's a really powerful way getting clients if you know how to use it and use it properly. So I'll go on YouTube, find a couple of people doing cold calls, and listen to what they are saying. And it turns out basically they do like a live calling. They cut a video at the end, but maybe it's like 1 hour video. So maybe effectively they call for 2 hours, 2, 3 hours, and they book 3, 4 appointments in this time. So I say like, okay, this script might seems good, and what they are saying also seems good. So I kind of take some notes of what do they do, what do they say. I go check another YouTuber doing the same, and another, and another. So kind of see what works the best and what they are using to get through it's either gatekeeper or to get the owner to be interested to say something more, not just to reject them. So I kind of combine a couple of stuff that I liked and then I see it works for them, and I created my own script. And then I started calling and adjusted my own script to the way it fits me and the way I feel comfortable presenting it. So that's how I created my first script, how it all started. Yeah, I mean, it's really what matters at the end of the day the most, I would say, is that you get to talk to the owner of the business if that's your target audience. If you need to talk to because it's a small business, let's say, and it's, I don't know, roofing company example. So you want to go ahead and what you want to do is to get to talk to the owner. So now the problem is when you call a roofing company, usually you'll call to a gatekeeper because they have office assistants and stuff like that. Really rarely you're gonna run into roofing company owner that's gonna pick up. So that reduces your chances. I would say 90%. You're just almost like wasting your time. Because I mean, it's okay, gatekeeper. They might tell you, okay, well, send an email to info at blah blah. That sucks. You're getting nowhere. What I realized that's also before I picked my own niche. I said like, or I was playing with one niche. I can't remember. I said like, okay, I need to get to talk to. I gotta call businesses in which I can get to talk to an owner. So that was one of the ways for me to discover my niche. I call small businesses that usually the owner is in the office or it's around. Like for example, I saw another guy called Medispa clinics and stuff like that. Usually owner is around, like usually the owner would be the one who actually does the work with his assistants and team and all of that. That's how I found my niche, and that was one of the way to start for me because it's really important that you try not to waste your time, obviously. So that's how I found my niche, and then I developed a script further down the line and all of that. So that's one of the great tips that nobody really talks about. Try to call a business that you can talk to the owner.
Yeah, I feel like that's a very important goal for a lot of people who are in sales or lead gen, and even these companies that, I mean, there's so many of them now that mine data and sell it to you on a per person, like a per lead basis, where it's like, we'll give you the LinkedIn profile and the email address and the phone number and their position title and
Yeah,
what town the company's in and stuff like that. And one of the boxes that you always want to be able to check off is this the owner or the decision maker? Because when you're going for small businesses, that's the person who's going to say yes or no. That's the person that you want to talk to anyways. And you're right, there can sometimes be a like a gatekeeper, like you said, like a goalie or something trying to
yeah,
block your shot, where you're trying to get into them and they want you to leave a message or send an email or something like that. Yeah, you got the right, from what I've learned at least, you've got the right approach to finding like the right person that you want to talk to about that. Are you so you're using high level to organize all this? Is that your tool of choice? Is that what you told me recently to kind of be like your CRM and your like, like your landing page builder and everything for this?
Yes, that's high level is kind of core of my service for my own business as well. I don't use it as much as I could. Obviously, cost or you could host a website, okay, landing pages and stuff, write blogs and whatever you want to automate things as well. Like the same stuff you can do for your clients. But I don't really use it as much for myself as I should. It's just that I'm still not at a level where I need to, let's say, automate the appointments that I have. Like I don't even have a single appointment with a potential client, And even if I do, I can manually follow up with them. It's not really a big deal for me at this moment, but of course, that's the plan, right? To automate all that and use it in a more advanced way. But for my clients, yeah, high level is, the core of everything that I provide, automations and part of advertising, where I receive the leads for my clients, convert them, nurture them, and yeah, everything happens in there.
Oh, I see. So you're saying you're using the software more so for when you get a client and you work for them. High level is like the backbone of your marketing efforts for them, as opposed to you using it for yourself to get clients. It's kind of like that's the service that you're selling them on using like that. You're kind of basically white labeling that platform or like using it as the back end of what you do for them.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, for me, that's one of the unique selling points for high level. Otherwise, there are so many other tools that I would rather use and I could use. Um, but but in this case, like you could have sub accounts within a high level. So you have an agency account as the top, and then you have other sub accounts, and sub accounts basically your client. So you can have like an unlimited number of sub accounts that you could manage in one platform. So that's pretty cool and easy access and all of that. So it's everything in one unified platforms. That's great. So that's one of the reasons why I started with high level. But I don't, for myself, like on the agency level, I don't use it as much as I should. But again, once that time comes for me to start scaling, that's when I'm gonna start using it.
So you're saying you really appreciate the white labeling elements of high level. You think that's one of the best features. What are some of your, I know you and I talked about this recently. What are some of your complaints about high level or some of the things that you think that it lacks or could be improved a little bit?
Yes, well, definitely one of the first thing when I think of the downside is the speed. It's really slow and sometimes buggy. So that's kind of the biggest problem I have. And unfortunately, if you had a client who would really, really have a problem with that, being like want it as soon as you click, everything just appears in front of you. You could have a problem with that because that could be even a deal breaker because you're offering a platform that is, not making your clients happy. For that, it's the only thing that they would use it for. Like obviously, a couple of stuff extra, maybe call the lead or send an email, SMS through it, and all of that, which works fine. But again, it's kind of you would expect it to be faster. For example, there are a bunch of other tools, like for example, it's more like CRM, so it's not the same. But let's compare it anyway. So HubSpot, for example, that's way faster, provides you with the same options that you can find in high level like marketing stuff. Also, you can host your again website, landing pages, anything else. Pretty much automate almost everything that you can imagine. So HubSpot is kind of very similar in those terms, but the problem is obviously pricing. So the more contacts, the more expensive it becomes, and definitely HubSpot is more pricey than high level. Also, the HubSpot doesn't have these sub accounts options, so it's only for like you have to install or let's say activate HubSpot every time for your client, build the entire system for them the way you are doing for the same for another client of yours, and you would be an admin, for example. So that kind of, I don't like that approach. I like it more when it's I have control over the entire platform for my client, and it's in my hands more than it is in a HubSpot case. So yeah, basically this there are other tools that you could go ahead and try use. Also, obviously, high level is not the only one. There is another one similar but not the same, and I never use, so I cannot really talk about it much. But it's Pipe Drive, I think. I think that's the name. Anyway, there are a couple of tools as an alternative to high level. But yeah, one of the biggest downsides is speed. And in the beginning, if you're new to it and you don't know how to figure out some stuff, interface is not always most friendly, and you might end up calling support for really, basic stuff like setting up a calendar. Just one example of me in the beginning, I was trying to set up a calendar for a client, and they give you a couple of options before to select. So it was they call it a round robin calendar, event calendar, whatever. So now, which I choose, use your logic. So I use the event calendar, so and set it up and all that, and we realize it's not syncing with the client's Google calendar. And so I end up, call for the support, all that, just for them to realize, okay, so this guy, first person, opened up a ticket for me. So, didn't wasn't able to fix it for me. So I end up dealing with a support over there. I decide to, that took a couple of days. So I decide to give a call back again, hoping that I'm going to find someone else who's maybe more, have more knowledge. So, and that also is one thing, like you gotta hope that you're gonna find someone who really knows their stuff. So I jump on a call with another person, and another person just sold it out for me. And basically, he said, "Oh, you shouldn't choose event calendar. You should go for round robin." And like, okay, so why? Well, we just recently did an update that round robin is the calendar to go for almost all cases scenarios. The others, they're not providing what you're looking for right now. So, but what I'm looking for is basically a simple calendar sync in between the two platforms. So we fixed it. But as you can see, what happened, like a couple of days of something very, very simple. Like, what could I say to my client? Hey, look, I'm trying to connect a calendar with a platform that I just sold you because it's so amazing. Yeah, so that was really kind of problem. Those kind of issues, probably you can get the idea out of this story that those are situations that you can encounter at high level. But obviously now I know, so next time I'll choose round robin calendar. But who doesn't know? Highly possibility that he's gonna make the same mistake or just get frustrated and leave it.
So you're saying basically that you should have a pretty good understanding of the options they give you and the features to know how they're going to function and which one is going to work for your potential clients, so that like you don't want to sell a client on an idea and then get in there and work on their account and realize that it's not working the way that you told them that was going to work. It sounds like you were lucky enough to kind of find the right option and get out of that, but maybe originally you were concerned that your whole business model was going to collapse because high level couldn't do what you told your client that it could do, but then you kind of like got lucky and it worked out. So yeah, I guess it definitely makes sense to have a good understanding of how it all works. Do you think that there is the support okay in general? Is it good? Is it bad? What do you think about that?
They're okay. Again, depends really on to whom you run into, because sometimes you get someone who will uh, fix it up for you most of the stuff, but there are some other agents that wouldn't, that they just don't have enough knowledge, or they've been recently hired, not enough trained. But I would say it's like 50-50 chance that you run into either good or less knowledgeable one. So they try their best, I would say. They're nice, customer service is good and all of that, in terms of like they treat you well and they try to help you. Otherwise, they will open up a ticket for you, which happened a couple of times. And also, they've been responsive to those emails as well. It's not that they really abandon you. So they are there, but it sucks that you really need to call them or for so many little things. As I said, like for this calendar thing, in another tool, probably you wouldn't need to do that. It will most probably work the way you expect it to work. So that's I would say one of the downsides of high level. Like it's not a interface is sometimes you just try to use your logic, and instead of giving probably if that let's say that calendar thing, if it showed a little bit more information about how each calendar behaves and what is it for, I would know what should I choose. But back in that moment, it didn't. Now, if I recently I was setting up something, and it's not like that anymore. It just have a couple of few options for the calendar that tells you exactly what is it for. So they improve that part. But since the platform is so complex, you quite often can run into something that will be like, this doesn't work. You try it and doesn't work the way you would expect it to work. So you have to jump on a call with them. So, but obviously in the beginning, I used to jump on a call with support every second day or even every day. But eventually, once I figured it out and I got it built, the system that I wanted, and and now when it works the way I wanted, I can do it again, all over again. But let's say you're a beginner, total beginner, and you start with it, you would probably run into a bunch of little, dumb stuff.
You mentioned that HubSpot is another I mean, everybody knows HubSpot being like a CRM platform, but their pricing is based on the amount of data you have in the CRM. Is there another, like when you think about high level and how you're using it and like the thing about it that sold you, is there another platform out there or two that not necessarily that they compete with high level, but that you would be happy to use yourself? Or let's say like if you took the best options from high level and mixed them with some other platform, like is there another platform out there that does what high level does better than they do that you'd recommend that you're aware of? Or have you not seen anything else, anything else out there that can kind of do what their system is designed to do?
I would say, high level is kind of a combination of multiple tools that before high level or before now probably some other similar tools. You need to connect stuff. I don't know. Let's say Zapier with maybe Google Sheets or something third. I have no clue. But yeah, like Twilio and stuff like that. So before you would have to make integrations of all this stuff and connect them all to work together, and that would be your system. But now you have tools like high level where it's kind of all of this combined together in one. So that's cool. And it sounds like an amazing thing, but as you can see, sometimes it doesn't work that you would like it to work. But I believe that over time they're gonna improve that because I see every here and there they release new features. So they're working on like fixing stuff. They listen to the customers as well. They have a list of big list of stuff that people are complaining about, and that they might think that, or they might think that would improve their experience. So those are pending features for them to install, and they do over time. But now when it comes to other tools, honestly, the only one I've heard of that I know that does something similar, but I don't know to which extent, it's Pipedrive. I'm not really sure, something like that. But I've never used, and I have no clue how it works or anything else about it. So only thing that I know is that it's supposed to be alternative to high level, but I just really don't know to which extent.
Oh, Pipedrive, sales, CRM, and pipeline management.
That's the one. Yeah.
Looks like, yeah, I'll put it in the notes in the show notes for the episode. CRM for business, AI, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, looks like a HubSpot competitor. Because I know high level also has like landing page building and website building and like sales
Mhm.
integration. I don't know if I'd have to look at Pipedrive's website a little bit more in depth. But okay, cool. Thanks. I'm not familiar with that one, so now I know about this one too. Do you have a place anywhere online that you want people to find you on, like a website or a profile or something?
If anyone want to find me, you can find me on LinkedIn profile. Just my first and last name, Zoran Surlan, which is Surlan, and basically, yeah, that's the only place where I am. I'm not really active. I don't post much, but soon I'm supposed to have my landing page, website, and all that going on. So I'm also looking forward to writing some blogs on this topic of marketing and stuff like that. So yeah, that's in the plan.